So let's say that happens tomorrow. The Democratic left, you get your wish, and ICE is gone, and there's an illegal alien who's been busted for drunk driving. Should he be deported? Simple question. Should people who are here illegally who get busted for DUI, should they be deported?
We have to sort of, I think what we have to do is think about abolishing ICE and then creating something else. I think. What was the question again?
There was an ideological revolution on the left this week, and hardly anybody noticed it. For months, you may have noticed, members of the progressive fringe have been calling for abolishing ICE. That's the agency responsible for enforcing our immigration laws. That's not a mainstream position, obviously, and Democratic leaders seemed embarrassed by it. Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer opposed the idea. So did many others. And then everything changed. 2 days ago, a self-described socialist called Alexandria Ocasio Cortez unexpectedly won a Democratic primary in New York. Ocasio Cortez ran on abolishing ICE. Suddenly, in days, getting rid of ICE is something many Democrats say they are for. Now, midterm elections are approaching, so it's time for the rest of us to take this idea seriously. What exactly would happen if the left killed ICE? Well, here's some of the facts about ICE. ICE is responsible for all immigration enforcement within the United States. Last year, ICE arrested 32,958 illegal immigrants with criminal records. Almost 5,000 of those were members of violent gangs. Without ICE, all of those criminals would still be at large within our borders. Last year, ICE also seized 2,370 pounds of fentanyl. That's the narcotic that is driving the single deadliest drug crisis in the history of this country. That's enough fentanyl to kill every single American citizen by overdose. Without ICE, that fentanyl would still be in circulation. And of course, ICE is also the body responsible for deporting anybody illegally inside the United States. Last year, ICE removed more than 226,000 people who broke American law. ICE did that because ICE is the only agency we have to do it. Without ICE, criminal aliens could stay in this country with impunity. That would include gang members, drug smugglers, child molesters, convicted murderers. They could not be deported. Companies, meanwhile, could bring in an unlimited number of illegal workers. That would crash wages for American citizens, even more than it already has. It would be a disaster. But it's the point. The campaign against ICE is a campaign for open borders. And some are honest enough to admit that. During protests against the administration, activists have chanted this: no borders, no nations, stop the deportations. No borders, no nations. One leads to the other, always. Without borders, nations are impossible. If we passed a law tomorrow allowing strangers to live in your house, would it still be your house? No, it would not be. It would be everybody's house. Soon, it would be nobody's house. That's the left's plan for America. Finally, they are saying it out loud. Abolish ICE. Democrats are now saying that in growing numbers. Hemanth Gundavaram is co-director of the Immigrant Justice Clinic at Northeastern University. I think he agrees with that sentiment, and so we wanted to talk to him about it. He joins us tonight. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me, Tucker.
As I said in the script at the beginning of the show, this is not something that I have taken seriously, that I think most people watching have taken seriously, abolish ICE. Now I think we have an obligation to take it seriously. So I'd like to ask you what it would mean. ICE arrests thousands, many thousands of criminal aliens, illegal aliens in our country who have committed felonies and been convicted of them every year. And if there was no ICE, they would not be arrested. That would be bad, wouldn't it?
Well, we existed as a country for hundreds of years before ICE came along 15 years ago. So I think the issue is that ICE has just gotten too big. Let me give you some statistics. ICE has a yearly budget now of $6 billion. The family separation policy from President Trump is expected to cost an extra $2 billion. So ICE was not created to be this big. ICE was created to focus on national security and terrorism, and now people are being arrested who have not committed crimes. People are being arrested who have committed nonviolent crimes. So ICE is really straying from its original purpose. So the idea of abolishing
let me just say
something else will come along to take it over.
Everything is bigger than it. Okay, so that's the hope, that something else, quote, something else will come along. But in the meantime, you have thousands and thousands and thousands of actual criminals who are here illegally, not people whose only crime is being here, but people who've committed felonies, child molestation, murder, lots of drunk drivers. And without ICE, they don't get arrested. Does that bother you?
The ACLU says that 90% of criminal arrests by ICE are for nonviolent crimes. So when President Trump ran for office, he said that he was going to go after the bad hombres, the big criminals.
Okay. But without ICE, we don't arrest anybody. So, look, I understand that you think that ICE does more than it should. I get it. And that's a real debate, and we should have it. But getting rid of ICE
you're for small government, right?
I don't know. I guess in some cases I'm for protecting the country that I was born in, that I'm not leaving America. And without ICE, you have actual criminals going unpunished, roaming free. You have thousands of pounds of fentanyl that would be on the streets. Can you at least acknowledge that those are real concerns? That's not a small thing, is it?
Those are concerns, but again, there were 20 agencies that handled different things that ICE handled. Now ICE is so big that the president has power with these $6 billion and asking for $2 more billion potentially to use ICE as his own police force. And that means that there can be rampant abuse about how you use ICE.
You're the one calling for getting rid of. I understand. And by the way, I think we disagree on everything, but I do agree with you that federal agencies do things they weren't created to do. And I'm against that. So I'm sympathetic to your point there. But getting rid of the agency leaves you in the position of having to explain specifically who will arrest the illegal aliens who are also rapists and murderers. And there are actually a lot of them. Not all people here legally are, obviously, but there are still a lot of felons who are here illegally.
A very small percentage.
But the numbers are high, right? The percentage is small, I agree, but the aggregate number is big. It's thousands and thousands of people. So who arrests them? Who deports them?
But there were agencies, smaller agencies before that would do. I think first we just have to, you're sort of asking for a solution, but I think first we need to agree that ICE is a problem, and the fact that it's $6 billion, that it's, it's going after people that it shouldn't be going after. It was really intended to be created about national security.
I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt you, but you're missing the point. People are calling for eliminating the agency. So let's say that happens tomorrow. The Democratic left, you get your wish, and ICE is gone, and there's an illegal alien who's been busted for drunk driving. Should he be deported? Simple question. Should people who are here illegally who get busted for DUI, should they be deported?
We have to sort of, I think what we have to do is think about abolishing ICE and then creating something else. I think, what was the question again?
Well, should someone, and the question is, should an illegal alien busted for drunk driving be deported?
That's too vague of a question. I mean, the criminal justice system.
No, it's a very specific question.
Crimes.
No, it's a very specific question.
The criminal,
but
the criminal justice system.
You deal with immigration for a living. No, I'm asking, what do you think we should do? Because we're at a moment where we're remaking. It's a revolution. We're remaking everything anew. Well, let's get rid of ICE. Okay, so what are the new rules? I'm here illegally. I get busted for DUI. Should I be deported? Very simple. Do you think an illegal alien busted for DUI should be deported?
Immigration law is very complicated, Tucker. That person could have an asylum claim. They could have many different types of reasons why they might be able to stay in the United States beyond their DUI. The criminal justice system can handle crimes, right? I mean, American citizens
But no one is going to
deport
jail. Illegal aliens who commit crimes without ICE. So you're saying they should all be allowed to stay here with their asylum claims.
Are you saying before
I'm saying if you're here illegally and you're busted for a crime, leave.
But are you saying before 2003,
I'm sorry, they're barking at me. I've got to go.
Okay. Thank you, Tucker.